The doctor's in, and he'll be taking patients now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hats Off to You. My name is Jay, and folks, one of the services that I offer in this position is really to help you out. I try to help you out as much as I can by way of humoring you and talking about some little nerdy bits and just in general, just trying to be a calming presence in the sea of life that can be oh so tumultuous, right? Um, One of the direct ways that I try to assist in that is by offering advice. I just had the how-to video, how to Thanksgiving, in a way that does not drive you insane. And I'm open. I'm open for business. All right. The doctor's in. Right. Real talk. When I was younger, a lot of people they would uh, they would come up to me, and even still now, but especially when I was like in high school, a lot of people come up to me with like the high school problems and be like, Jay, I don't know how to do this thing. And I was like, well, I don't know either, but I'll try to help. Man, this girl, right? Uh, I'm not dating anybody, but I appreciate the fact that you are so taken with my ability to handle my own life that you think that I have the expertise to speak on something which I have no expertise in. Uh, Thanks, man. Hey, you welcome. So, I guess I've always kind of been the house psychiatrist or whatever you want to call me, right? Doctor's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. That makes it sound like I'm, important or something. So I did get some fan mail, if you will, right here. He said he was a big fan, but it might just be he wrote a little letter. I'll be here all week. So yeah, I'm going to read this note and write mouth. Dear Doctor, that's me once again, probably getting a little carried away with the title, but I appreciate it. We're going to call him Paul, by the way. This is a letter from Paul. Um, Dear Doctor, my girlfriend and I have been living together for a little while now. I really like her and we get along great. Um, Problem is, though, that she seems to seek her mother's advice and her approval for things. It does not matter what we do or how we do things, she is always looking to her mother for approval. This is not a bad thing, but I want to know how to get her to calm down because sometimes she feels like she can't live up to what her mother may expect of her and it bothers her. I can tell it stresses her out, and I am trying to tell her that it does not really matter what her mother thinks. Okay, I'm with you so far, Paul. Um, we have the holidays coming up, and we have tried to decorate as we are hosting this year. Her mother said something about how it might look good if we added a certain element. However, the place already looks really good as is. She is losing her mind, and so am I. Please help. Paul. Well, Paul, I'm glad you asked, right? So, uh, let me put you on to some real stuff here, because this actually is a big deal. It's a bigger deal than you might think, Paul. But really, it's not. There's kind of multiple stories to this problem, right? So, to break it all down, the first things first. I don't know what relationship your girlfriend has with her mother. It might be, I'm assuming maybe she might have been an only child, or maybe she was the older sibling or the younger sibling, and however the family dynamics work there, I'm not sure. But I will say that sometimes a parent will tend to latch on to their child no matter how old they get, no matter how far along in life they get, no matter how well off they get. The parent will always be there. And that is what is referred to sometimes as entanglement. And that is a legit psychology high dollar term, basically meaning that the parent won't let the child get away from them entirely. Now, it's not necessarily meant to be a bad thing. It's not like the parent is trying to manipulate the child. It's not saying that the child, and I say child here obviously being an adult in this case, but to the parent, you'll always be the child on some level. Um, it's not like it's not always malicious. It's not always a bad thing. It might be that the child, in this case the adult human female, has spent so much time trying to pander to please the mother that maybe the mother has at this point just assumed, not like, yes, you are in my grasp, but just that it's almost like a what do you call it? Maybe like a Pavlov's dog sort of thing, where it's like, I said this, so I expect her to do it. Because A has happened, B is bound to happen. If I give her the suggestion, it's going to come through. She's going to make it happen for me, and that's just things that sort of cycle and get out of the way. Now I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but really, the brass tacks, the hard knuckle truth about it is that whatever problems are between your girlfriend and your mother are between your girlfriend and your mother. Now, should that spill out and bother you and her? No, that shouldn't. That's not to say that there aren't going to be some times where maybe she needs a little extra, a little bump on the shoulder. Yeah, you're okay. Don't worry about it. You're okay. Um, build her up. Just always build her up. Let her know. I wouldn't go so far as to say it doesn't matter what her mother thinks, because it doesn't, but it does. I mean, obviously, you want to make your parents proud. You want to do something um, to make them look at you with some sense of, you know what, I'm happy with them. Um, you know, your parents don't necessarily always have to agree with you. You don't always have to agree with your parents, but as long as they respect you, respect your boundaries, and really and truly let you be your own person, even if you're going to make mistakes, as long as they respect the fact that you're your own person, and as long as you are accountable for your mistakes and you see everything through to completion, then there's no reason that the mother should be trying to into y'all's life. Uh, I mean, if we're just being real honest here, it ain't like the mama lives there, right? I mean, if she has her own house, she can put up whatever decoration she wants to, right? And I mean, really, or she can go out and get the decorations. She can bring them over to your house, and she can put them up however she wants to, because I assume that y'all are busy individuals and you have things to do. Maybe you can't find a particular type of decoration. Did you ever think of that, Mom? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. And I'm not trying to be rude to the mother here. Clearly, I mean, hey, if Paul's soon-to-be mother-in-law's watching, how you doing? This is hats off to you. It's a pretty cool thing, but you just need to keep everything in kind of a respectable context. Easy for me to say, right? So, uh, I I think that you should just Paul and Paul's girlfriend. I think that you should just keep the house however the way the house is, right? Like if the mama wants to make things the way she wants to make things, then you know what? That's gonna be the way it is. Let me ask you something, and this is real talk, right? Um, and this is where it kind of branches out to anybody. If you are doing something that you don't think somebody will appreciate, see, because your house is your house, right? If you and her, one of y'all own it, y'all co-own it, whatever. If that's your space, your domain, nobody, and I'm not just picking on the mama here, anybody who comes over who says, I would do it this way. Well, that's a nice suggestion, but you know what? It's our house. We're going to do it our way. You can do what you want to your house, but as for my house, we will have the silver decorations and not the golden decorations, right? So Uh, just do your thing, right? And I mean, honestly, here's the thing, and once again, trying to keep it in context. If the mother is going to pitch that big of a fit about, and this is me kind of speaking back to your girlfriend now, Paul. If the mother is going to pitch that big of a fit about the decorations, do you really want to have her over anyway? I mean, why are you inviting her over if you think it's going to be an issue? You know what? It's probably not going to be an issue. The mother might make some sort of kind of like, oh, well, well, yeah, it's still the way it was, kind of one of those backhanded sort of, things. Or she might outright say, oh, you didn't put the things up, but you know what? Water right off the duck's back, bro. Water right off the duck's back. You know what? Take it in stride, okay? Uh, Sometimes people are going to say things. Parents are people too, and that's a real hard lesson you got to learn. Is that parents are people too, and they're going to say things that aren't necessarily always the most correct thing to say, and they're always not going to do the right thing in any given moment. They're not infallible paragons of humanity. They're people who had a kid, and guess what? You're their kid. So, if they say something that you don't like, just take them aside and be like, yo, out of bounds, all right? Or however you talk to your parents, I don't know. But just be real with them. Don't feel like you have to please your parents all the time, right? Especially when you come of a certain age, if you have a job, if you have income, if you have uh, a life of your own going for you, don't feel like you have to do anything for your parents just to satisfy your parents' little nitpicky wishes, be a respectable person, be an upstanding citizen, do something productive or whatever, be the sort of person where a normal parent should look at you and say, you know what, I'm proud of you. Uh, if you're not, punching people in the face, walking down the street, just serial punching, just people just walking down the street, you know what, that's a good start. And I feel like your girlfriend probably doesn't do that, Paul. So right there, the mother should be proud of your girlfriend. But specifically for Thanksgiving, because that can be an awkward time, because like I referred to in my last video, that's the time when everybody's supposed to be kind of be happy, and you're all supposed to act like you're just all friendly and stuff. And if anybody, makes a hap-handed comment or whatever, uh, just once again, water off a duck's back. Don't start a fight with them. Don't come to blows at the dinner table. It's not about how the rest of the house looks, all the decorations. All right, nobody cares about that as soon as that turkey hits that table, right? Um, but if you're really concerned about it, like, because sometimes you get that family member, that friend, that mother, that whoever, who just, the nose is up here and it's just nothing's ever good enough for me, sort of thing, right? And I'm not saying, Paul, that your mother-in-law to be is like this. I'm just saying if you got that one, uh, or if you just want to just, pull the Joker's wild out and just see, see some fun. If you think there's going to be an issue with the decorations, if you think somebody's going to have something to say about maybe the cleanliness of your house, if you think somebody is going to like have some little nitpicky thing to say, just something just to away at the nice happy scene you've got set up, here's what you do: pick a food that maybe you could care less about, but maybe that they love, and burn the absolute crap out of it. I mean, have it come out looking like a brick, and let that be on the table for them to eat. And you know what? Suddenly, those decorations aren't going to matter one bit. And you know what? You won't have to hear a single word about the decorations. Instead, you'll have to hear about something else that actually is kind of a big deal. But you know what? The decorations ain't bothered. So, in conclusion, don't don't worry so much. It's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving. Have a good time. Whenever your parents come over, have a good time. Don't worry about it. Don't fret. Don't get caught up in it. It's your house. Live it the way you want to live it. And you know what? They'll be okay. They can go home and do their house however they want to. However you bothered them with your house, they can go home and fix what they don't like about your house upon their house. Right? Right. Thank you. Hats off to you.